Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We went from winter almost into summer. It's nearly 80 degrees out here today. Well, we're going to take advantage of this weather before the approaching line of storms coming in later tonight and tomorrow. And we're going to start getting some of these box beds ready. I'm not going to start doing my in-ground garden up here yet. I'll kind of change subject a little bit on you. I've talked to you in past videos about the controlled burn that's supposed to be happening here. Well, the weather conditions have not been suitable for it, and it's been pushed out once again, similar to what happened last year. Now they're planning on being here first of next week to do the controlled burn. The place I was going to put my in-ground garden up here with my onions that are probably in the mailbox today, waiting to be planted, is the same area where State Forestry Department is planning on using as their staging area to work. So I can't put my onions and my onion bed in until they're done with the burn, or they're going to be driving all over them, and it's going to make, or if they tried to have to work around, it'd be a lot more complicated. So we're going to go ahead and start working on the box beds here. The one box bed up there, it's starting to fall apart on me. It really needs to be reworked. I'm probably not going to have time to work it this spring, but my son and I, Trey's actually running the camera today. We came out the other day and we turned these beds over with a shovel. Now I'm gonna get the tiller out and I'm gonna go through and chop it up real good, and I'm gonna probably put 10-15 gallons of rabbit manure pellets on it and turn all that in as well, just to add some organic natural fertilizer and nutrients back into the soil. And then after we get that done, we're going to go back over to the house, and my daughter Taryn, standing up here out of frame right now, she's going to start helping me get our seedlings started. So we're going to get our seed trays started. We're going to get the seeds put in there, and then some of those are going to get started inside on the on top of the deep freezer with the grow lights, and use the heat from the deep freezer to get those germinated like we did last year. And some of them I'm going to prep a seedling bed over here on the other side. I've got to go pick up some more stuff from my dad's house to get that seedling bed started, but then we're going to start some seeds out here. We're probably not going to start those today though, because they're calling for up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts with these storms that are coming through tonight and tomorrow. And this is going to require a grow cloth on top of it, and I don't want to have this grow cloth out here exposed to the 60-mile-an-hour winds, or it'll end up way down in the valley somewhere most likely. But we're going to get over here. I'm going to start tilling this. We're going to dump these rabbit pellets in and keep tilling it up some more, and then we'll see where we're at once we're done with all that. All right, we got the first round of tilling done here, and as you saw, I dump our ash from our fireplace in here, and really that's the main thing, is I dump the ash in here. Sometimes I'll put some compost in here if my compost bin starts to get too big. That's what I've done in the past. Now here recently, what I've started doing is, when the compost, after I turn it over on a regular basis, and as it cooks down and gets to the consistency that I want, I actually pull it out and I put it in these really large, these landscaping pots that you buy trees and things in. My dad had a whole bunch of them from back when he did a lot of landscaping on the houses he built. I'll just fill those up and I'll put a cover on it and set it aside, and the black plastic basically will continue to cook that compost down. And then if I have something on top of it keeping the light from getting into it, then I don't really have to worry about stuff starting to grow in it. And over time, then I'll just scoop out of it and use it for whatever I want to do. And with the onions, it's a little tricky because we plant them so close to each other in rows through here. But if I'm planting tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, things like that, then I'll actually dig a hole. I'll fill the hole in with our compost from the bin back here behind me, and that's how I use the compost generally. Now, as you can see, this box bed's also falling apart. This bed is 8 years old now, I believe, 7 or 8 years old, and it was made out of used decking material, and it's starting to break down and fall apart now, and it's just 1x6s or 1x5 or 1x6. I can't remember what it is with this decking material because it kind of comes in an odd shape, an odd size. That bed over there is made out of 2x8s, and it's still going strong and holding on. Now these little beds right here, and the little germination bed I'm going to make, that's made out of the Trex composite decking material, because my dad had a bunch of that left over from a house that he did where they put new decking in, and or put a new deck on, and these were just the scrap pieces. They're 3-4 feet long scrap pieces, and so I actually made this cilantro bed right here beside me is made out of the Trex decking material, composite decking material, and then this one back over here is going to be made out of the composite. This wind is starting to pick up really, really heavily right now. I hope the audio is okay. I'm hoping that it's not messing with it too much. You just never really know. And here comes the dog. Come here, Sadie. Come here, girl. Come here. Little monster. Anyway, all right, so I've got the rabbit manure dumped in here. I'm going to go through and just till that in pretty good. And then I'm going to do the same thing in that bed down there and this bed up here behind me. I won't show you all that, but just kind of give you an idea of what we're doing there. And then we'll come back to you in a little bit with the other stuff that we're going to do over there with the seeds. Come on, let's go. Well, I'm just going to show you here what it looks like. So I went through, tilled all that rabbit manure, rabbit pellets in, and came through with the garden rake and smoothed it all out. This is just going to look like this temporarily. When the onions, like I said, I think the onions are probably coming today. So I'll have to go get those out. But once these storms have passed, and I feel like we're safe weather-wise, and I don't have to worry about getting down. These onions are pretty hardy, down to about 24, 25 degrees. Once I think we're pretty safe from those temperature ranges, then I'll go ahead and put them in the ground. But that's going to take a little bit of prep work. We've done several onion videos in the past. If you want to know what that's like, I can put it up here in one of these corners up here, so you'll be able to go in. You can click that. You can see how we did it in the past. But then, as always, when we get to it, we'll cover it in one of our weekly series. Most likely, I don't know that we're going to do another dedicated onion series this year, just because we've done so many in the past. We're still doing it for the most part a lot of the same way that we always have. But you know, I kind of like doing this weekly series, so you get a feel for week to week to week to week exactly what's going on around here. And, you know, some weeks are a little more busy and hectic than others. And then others, you know, I'm not going to say there's never a week where we do nothing. That's for sure. But there are some weeks where it's a lot more laid back and there's not as much urgent stuff to be done. But so this bed is done. I've got to finish turning that one down there by hand. And then this one back here is already turned. It's just ready to be tilled with the tiller here. But I'll kind of go down here and show you how we turn this one by hand real quick. All right, so before we actually get the tiller out and start tilling these beds, we just go through and I just take a standard shovel and I just go through the whole thing and I dig it down 6 to 8 inches deep, and I just take the dirt that is in the shovel there and I just flop it over. And all I'm doing is just loosening the soil up, because those tillers, they don't really do a good job digging. They do a real good job mixing and chopping, but they're not really good for actually digging down into the ground. And I see people on YouTube all the time, they'll go buy a lightweight push tiller like that, not even a heavy duty walk behind, not a heavy duty walk behind tiller, and they'll try to till up a chunk of never been worked ground with a tiller like that. And all that does is it'll chop the top, you know, couple of layers, a couple of inches of soil up, but then it eventually creates a hard pan at the bottom of that. And that's not how those tillers, they don't work that way. They're not really good for that. You've got to bust the soil up. It's even, really it's the same even with tractor tillers. You can go through with a tractor tiller and you can till, you know, fresh green raw soil with a tractor tiller. but it's going to do the same thing. It's going to create a hard pan on the bottom. Whereas if you go through with a turning plow or a row buster, a middle row buster type, just a single plow blade, like what we use when we're digging potatoes, for example, or you go through with a ripper, something to bust the soil up first. Then when you go over the top of it with your tractor mounted tiller, it's going to bust that up a lot more fine. You're not going to have the hard pan in the bottom as if you did it the other way. So it's just, it's better for the soil, better for the plants to do it that way, really. Not saying you can't do it the other way. You can. I know plenty of people who do. But then they always end up dealing with that hard pan toward the end of the year and then in following years. But I'm just going to go through, finish this up like this, and then I'm going to go through and till it, do the exact same thing all over again. Well, we decided to go to my dad's house and go get some more lumber to maybe try to do a little bit of work on this upper box bed that's falling apart on us. And I also decided to go rummaging through his treasures. I don't know how else to put it. My dad's built houses for, geez, I don't know, 50, 55 years, 50 years or so. And over the years, he has accumulated a lot of stuff that when projects are done, stuff that most people would probably throw in a dumpster, my dad thinks that there's probably eventually going to be a use for it. So he keeps up with it. And so he has a pile of all kinds of little scrap pieces of PEX. And honestly, this is only about a third of what I brought home. The rest is piled over there where we drug it out of the truck, along with the deck boards that we're going to try to repair that box bed with. But, you know, as you would imagine with things almost always how they go, plan was to do that, get back over here and get back to work on the box beds. Well, that didn't happen. As we were unloading the truck, the wife came to get me. She had a flat tire on her truck, so had to deal with that. And we got stuck. We were not stuck. We ended up spending quite a bit of time at my parents' house talking to them about all kinds of stuff too. So I'm just now getting back. The wind is picking up. It started looking like it was about to storm back here behind me. It may have stormed over in the mountains, but it didn't do anything here. So I'm going to try to pop this rotten, broken board off up here on this top box bed. But before I do that, I've got to shovel all the dirt on that upper end over into the center of the bed so I can get to that edge where I can, when I pop the old board off, I can put the new board on and screw it into place. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of work, but thankfully I don't need to plant anything today. We did check the mailbox on the way home, and my onion order did arrive. So the onions are here. I've got a couple weeks before I really have to get them in the ground, so that's not really urgent. I'd rather have everything done and properly prepared instead of rushing and then something not working out properly. So I'm going to get over here and see if I can get this bed fixed, and then who knows, we'll see what else we have to do before the day's over. All right, so I got that. I got the old board off, new board here on. It all still had screws in it, so that's good. So I'm able to use all the old 2-inch screws that I had in it. Snugging up really good. Put another one in this one right here. Normally I have self-tapping screws. These are not. So I'm having to kind of be easy with it. There it goes. Come on now. There we go. That hit. So I'm going to go through, and I've got a couple of these stakes. I'm just going to go through and drive them in to kind of keep the sides from popping out like they did before. And then, in addition to that, we salvaged some They're just some metal. I think they're just steel. They were part of a Christmas decoration that broke, and so we salvaged these. And so I'm going to actually go through and I'm going to drive these down into the ground. I don't know if I'm doing the inside or outside, but these will work, because then I can put I'm going to drive them in about halfway, so that'll leave probably 8 inches or so sticking out of the ground. And then when I put the PEX tubing on to be the support for my row cover, it'll just slide down right over the top of that, and it'll work out really good, I think. So I'm gonna get a couple of those stakes. I've got my 3-pound hammer here, so I'm gonna just use it, drive these stakes in to give some exterior support to this new border. Drive these in for the PEX, and then I think I'll be ready to start tilling. I'll check the other side, but I think it's good. I think I replaced that board a couple years ago. This one over here on the outside edge is starting to wear out, but I think it'll last me through this year. We'll just see how it goes, but I'm gonna get this taken care of and see if we can get this knocked out today. All right, so let's see here. I forgot my gloves, dang it. So these want to turn, so you see that the way they're cut, they actually cut on an angle, which helps it go into the ground, but then when it starts to go in, then it likes to kick one way or the other. So just kind of have to be aware of that. And the ground is really hard right now. It's not going to want to go in very well. Yeah, and I'm very rocky soil up here, so I may be hitting a rock even. There it goes. I think I was hitting a rock, and it just now started getting past it. But this is just to keep that supported. Got another one there, but it's a little bit longer. All right, well, it's almost dinner time, and I'm gonna go ahead and just till this real quick. I've still got to supplement it with the rabbit manure. I've got to go get all that. I'm starting to get kind of shaky from not eating. I just realized I don't think I had lunch. Sometimes those days happen, you know, you get started doing things and you just, I don't know. I have a way of ignoring when my body tells me I have to eat. I don't ignore it when it says I need drink, when I need fluid and need to hydrate, but I can easily block out when it's hungry and keep going, and I eventually get to the point where I kind of just start getting a little shaky. So anyway, you didn't ask for that, but that's a little additional nugget for you. I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up for now. I'll probably end up doing a separate video. I don't know what this evening is going to hold, or tomorrow. See what the weather does, but if we do anything, I'll either add on to this video, or I'll just do a whole separate other one, just because this one's kind of starting to run a little long. Anyway, that's it for this video for now, I think. Thank y'all so much for watching. Got a lot of things picking up, a lot of activity. Obviously still waiting on the controlled burn. Hopefully that happens in the next few days and we can get that taken care of, and then, you know, that leads into a whole other set of things that have to be done once the burn is finished. So a lot of things starting to pick up, and try to keep you know, up to speed on everything that's going on as much as I can. So thank you so much. Have a blessed day.